Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome to What Would Cynthia Do? I'm so excited today because we have another special guest, my friend and colleague, Nikki, the Coochie Coach Brown. So tell us, if you're joining us on the LinkedIn side, drop a note in the chat so we know that you're here. I'm really excited because Nikki's going to talk to us today about some really power-packed topics around self-care and Naomi Osaka, high performance, all of these things that we need to know about as women of color having to deal with the working world. So say hi in the chat. I'm going to have Nikki intro herself in a second, but I forgot all my banners. Okay, here we go. Don't forget, you can join at whatwouldcynthiado.com. If you want to see any past episodes, go to my website, embracechange.nyc/resources, and you can see all the past, recordings of this. Hey, Lucic. Hi, welcome. Sharon, hello. Nice to see you again. Hey, Lenice, I was thinking about you. I think you're really going to like today. And Viana's here. Yes. Oh, my God. Going to play some air horns for you all. All the crew is here to see Nikki. Okay, and real quick, before I do get to Nikki, crowdfunding update. As of Monday night, we surpassed our initial goal. Oh, my God. Of $36,000 raised to fund the Embrace Change Leadership Accelerator. So now I have time to go for a stretch goal of $48K. So check that out, ifoundwomen.com/project/embrace-change. I have a lot of new rewards actually that are really cool, including for any of you podcasters, audio types. There's a really, the featured reward is a podcaster pack. And then I have a couple really good interview coaching sessions, negotiation coaching sessions. So check those out. And yeah, all right. So do your intros in the chat. You know how we do: pronouns, name, what you do on a recent win. Special guest, Nikki, the Coochie Coach Brown. Tell us who you are.
Hey, hi Cynthia. I love that. Congratulations. I mean, I'm so excited. I mean, the part that you leave out, I will say, is you did that in less than 30 days.
Yeah, it was about 21 days.
They say it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. So I think you have a habit of generating money. So we're going to talk about that later. So congratulations on that.
That's a generator.
I'm a coach. I mean, I am a sexual freedom strategist. I exist for the liberation of Black and brown bodies as it pertains to sex and intimacy. I focus particularly on high-performance female athletes and high-performance female athletic thinkers. So you are a high-performance female athletic thinker, whether you are on the track, on the treadmill, or in the kitchen. If you are taking your time to be courageous enough to go after goals, being relentless, being resilient, overcoming all kinds of circumstances and obstacles, you are indeed a high performer. And so with that, that's what I do. But I focus on coochie care and self-care and womb wellness, because without having balance on all fronts in our lives, then we find ourselves being imbalanced in our businesses and in our love lives. So, Oh yes, that's a win, Lenice.
Spotlighting a win. We were just talking before this, and also thank you for that beautiful intro. And I know folks will probably have questions for you. So if you have questions like, what is womb wellness? Like, talk more about high performance. Like, we're going to get into high performance thinking and athleticism and all that and how it relates to career. But put them in the chat, you all, and yeah, like, we did make it here today, and that's not a given. Like, there's so much else going on. And Nikki and I were just talking earlier about, like, hydrating, like drinking water right now is like a win. Yeah, exactly. Very nice. I've got, a little bit of a more banged up mug, but like, these are sort of the things that are important that we can never overlook. We can never talk about it enough, I feel like. So yeah, everybody keep doing your intros and stuff in the chat. I want to get right into it. And that is the topic of the day. Naomi Osaka, self-care as the key to high performance. I feel like this is so important, and this has been such a hot news item. And I still haven't fully processed or broken it down with anyone. So I'm really excited to do that with you, Nikki, because I know you're gonna have some gems for us on this. So I mean, real quick, to just get everybody up to speed, if you haven't really heard what's happening, I'm gonna try to give a nutshell, and Nikki, correct me where I'm wrong and stuff. So a little while ago, Naomi Osaka, tennis champ of the world, was like, I'm not going to do the post-game media interviews during the French Open. And I get that that's a part of my agreement or whatever, but I will take an L. I will pay that $15,000 fine to not do these because it's a hit on my mental health. It's very stressful for me. You know, she's got some, I think, a background of depression and anxiety. And then the French Open was like, basically like, fuck no, or something. Right. And so it became this whole thing. And the fact of her drawing this self-care boundary in her workplace, you know, has just been really huge. And I think it's a milestone moment for all women, but especially women of color, especially those of us high performance mindset people. So tell us your thoughts on this. What's your analysis?
Oh, wow. Well, one, I want to say congratulations, Naomi. Naomi, congratulations. Like, thank you. I say thank you for the ancestors who didn't have the courage to say hell no to work conditions that just didn't work for them. I don't care if it was mental, physical, spiritual, whatever it was, they just didn't have the courage, and this young woman did. So I say kudos to her for that, from the ancestors. And then as a contemporary, maybe not even her peer, obviously, because she's young enough to be my child, but for the contemporaries who are in my age bracket, who again, do not sometimes have the courage to say, no, hell no, I'm not doing the thing that you want me to do. And I will pay whatever the price is for my wellness, my sanity, my peace of freaking mind. I'm doing it. And for the youth who are of her age group, who are watching her, right? Yeah. And I think that this is a testimony to who the youth are today, because they have enough courage to say, hell fucking no, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, they just do. And so I look at her and I think, what would it be to be 23 again? You know, and to be so full of life and to be such a high performer and know your value and your worth is more than that field or that court, right? More than that tennis court, more than whatever sport you are or not playing, that your mental stability supersedes any dollar amount that they could ever put on the table. So I say hats off to her.
Oh my God. I was trying to, that was so good. I was trying to type it into a banner so I can put it up, but I'm going to forget that for a second and be like, yeah, this, everything that you're saying, I love how you broke it down and just took us through kind of historically from the ancestors to like our generation and then to the youth and the, you know, I'm not even saying emerging leaders because they're already leading us, like obviously. It's incredible. And like, I feel like what Lucic has shouted out here too in the chat, it's like the same thing. Like when you recognize that something is detracting from that part that Nikki, you were just saying is invaluable, right? Like there's no amount of money that can replace that type of harm. You know, it is actually up to us to draw these boundaries. And like, yeah, also kudos to you, Lucic, for doing that when you saw that was happening. I know that Clubhouse is like important to you and was a real avenue. So I know that that's not like a small thing at all. And Lanice is sharing, and it's so funny because Nikki and I were just talking about Clubhouse too, because I was like, do you want me to put your Clubhouse on here later? And you're like, I haven't been on there.
I was like, I ain't been in Clubhouse in a minute because I know the trap, right? And it is not a social media trap. It is a trap into the mind. And so for all of it, I will say when this whole pandemic conversation began, I told all of my friends, my family, this is a mind war. Yeah. This is a battle to keep your mind. Hold on, let me drink some water.
Yep.
This is about how do I maintain my mental stability throughout all of it?
Yeah. No
matter where I am on the planet. I didn't cough all day. What in the hell?
This is how it goes, you know? And that's like, that's also life too. Like I mean, everybody who watches the show knows that we're not like, you know, sure, like I do perform a little bit in this space. I like to have a little bit of goofy fun. Also, I'm not going to like hide shit from all of you. And like, actually just now we were like setting up the thing and I was like, oh, I should move my tissues. And Nikki was like, don't, we all need a tissue sometimes. So I was like, yeah, okay. So I'm glad that you are being real and not, you know, like you don't have to do, like, you don't need to sacrifice anything to be here, and we appreciate you. Everyone, I want everyone to feel like they can come as they are, you know, like as long as it's maintaining an anti-oppressive space here. And yeah, Vianna's also heard a lot of bad things about Clubhouse, and yeah, you know, we don't have to go into the whole rabbit hole of like social media necessarily, but I do want to bring it back to, what do you think that we all should be taking away from what Naomi Osaka has modeled to us?
Okay, so I want to say something to the quick Clubhouse theme, because I saw it once, because I believe that, you know, with everything, I'm a Libra, I believe in balance, right? There are great things that people have gotten from there. I've had business interactions there, and other people have had business wins over there. But I do know that if you lose control, and that's with any platform, you lose control of work, you lose control in social media. If there's any form of imbalance, you're going to suffer in some type of way. And so for anyone who has the wherewithal, right, because it's an awareness that Naomi had to have to know herself enough to say, let me step back. So Lucic had to know herself enough to know to step back from social media. And so that's in fact what I do. Like, I support people in stepping back, right? Stepping back, getting grounded, and getting into ourselves, because to step back doesn't mean that you fall down. And even if you fall down, it doesn't mean that you don't get back up. Right? A lot of times in our communities, particularly Black and brown women, we think that if we take a breath, we take a glass of water, we cry or shed a tear, we fall down, somehow the game is over for us, and we come back to the scene. And that's not the case. It is natural. It is human for us to have flaws and for us to need to take a minute. And if we don't take that minute, I think that that is more imbalanced than someone who has the courage and the confidence to stop and take a break from these things.
Oh my gosh, I love what you're saying. I always think about, like, when if you step back, you're actually doing a really courageous thing, and it's not forever. I do find this mindset a lot in my clients too, because we're socialized like this. It's not like our fault that we just like decided to be like this, right? But like, because we're a lot of times held to very high standards, you know, if you do make one mistake, there's like hard ramifications for you that, like, let's say white men don't have, right? They could just fail up all the time. Not the same for us. But yeah, it's not, stepping back is not forever. It's not stepping down. It's not stepping off. It's not falling down, like you said. And we do need to do that. And like the whole thing about like the coughing earlier too, if you hadn't taken a minute to like drink some water, you might still be coughing. So like, really, you didn't set yourself back, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah. And so Lenise had said, it's such a win when you learn to say no to the things that don't serve us. Yes. And once you start to remove yourself, what a revelation we find in that our performance is better because our peace is better. Okay. Could not have asked for a better segue right here. Please talk to us about high performance. What is high performance, and what does it mean in like athleticism? What does it mean for us who may not consider ourselves athletes? Tell us, because I feel like there's lessons there for everybody.
I mean, so let me tell you, when I went to do my, I'll call it research, right? When I went to find out, like, and in my, my library here is full of all of these people, these men that I found, right? So it was apropos that I did the research, and the names that showed up inside of my search were the names that are also in my bookshelf. So when I searched high performance, the first thing that came up was Brendan Burchard. He is a high performance coach. Many people know him. That's his job. That's his role. Then I saw Grant Cardone, right? 10X. It's about high performance, leveling up. This whole 10X culture, and doing everything 10 times, blah, 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 blah. But then there was something that I added that didn't come up in my search, and that was Tim Grover. And Tim Grover wrote a book on Relentless, but it's all about athletes, right? Because he focuses and he works with only athletes. And he talks about these high performance athletes, Kobe Bryant, you know, those kinds of people, people who are high performers, right? And so for me, when I thought about high performance, I said, well, let me go to see what Brendan Burchard said, right? And so his LinkedIn post article that they no longer do for this particular lane that he was focusing on. He said that a high performance person has clarity. So you typically know where you're going, right? You know the direction. You don't always have all of everything laid out, but you have a vision. I'll call it a vision, right? Clarity in your vision. You have energy of a certain level that people who are not high performers, they just don't have. Because even when you do the fallback, you got the energy and the stamina to keep bringing it forward. There's courage, he said, that a high performer has, right? Because when you're a high performer, you do things that the ordinary Joe Schmo is not going to do, right? And so you are going to take that leap. You're going to take that chance. You're going to walk out on the skinny branches in a way that people who are not living that life, they're just not going to do it. Productivity. A high performer is about productivity. I mean, Cynthia, you know, I talk to you about this all the time. Cynthia is full of productivity, you know? And so it's like, yo, I got to do A, I'm going to do B, C, and then 1, 2, and 3. And that is high performance. And if there's more time, similar to what you're doing in your crowdfunding, I'm going to go the extra mile and do 4, right? And if 5 shows up, then hey, look at me. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when I only set out to do 3. That's high performance, right? And the last one is influence. High performance people are influencers, right? So with all of the clarity, the energy, the courage, the productivity, people want to know how you do what you do, and they're willing to follow you to find out. And so that is what Brenda Burchard says makes someone high performance. Now, when I read that, I was like, that sounds great. And again, often what I saw, white men talking about high performance, cutting the mustard, meeting the standards, right? Going for the gold. But then what visualized in my mind were female athletes. So white man writes a book with words. What shows up in my visual are female athletes who are going hard in the paint, not quitting. No matter what. You see Serena Williams have embolisms, babies, be mistreated in hospitals, and still come out and kick ass the damn tennis court, right? And you continue to see this type of high energy, high performance, relentlessness with women of color. Naomi Osaka comes through, young woman, and whips Serena's ass in tennis, right? Gets this notoriety and gets all this recognition, and here she goes and wants to take one moment in her 23 years on the planet, sit down, take some inventory, and she is ridiculed, most likely, talked about in the sports world, treated like a freaking slave who should just keep working until her back is broken. That to me is the ultimate lack of self-care if she were to keep going. And for her, she has chosen self-care. And so it's, you know, she's still a high performance athlete.
Yes. So I mean, honestly, when you were laying all this stuff out about high performance, I was like, oh my God, I feel like this is very much like a white supremacy lens, which is consistent, I think, with you were being like, there's all these men talking about this. I mean, I assumed they were white men. I don't actually know. Maybe they were not all white men. But like, so if you feel like there's a lot of women of color, and I feel like everyone who's been up in the chat today and like all the regulars who watch What Would Cynthia Do, like you are all high performing, you know, the fact of you like showing up week after week to absorb knowledge and share is like, that's, I feel like evidence of the high performance stuff. So like, how does the self-care fit in? Are we deconstructing this definition to reclaim it or reshape it as something else? Like what? I'm confused.
No. So what I do is absolutely throw all of that crap in the garbage, right? So, because I know that I have that. Like Venus Williams said, right? Venus Williams said, when they come for her, she knows that they can't play better than her. They can't do things that she can do. She knows that whomever is writing anything about her, they can't light a candle to the greatness that makes her a high performance female athlete. So,
I feel like we all have to absorb that ourselves. I'm just going to pause that right now so everyone can write it down. Please continue.
Yeah. I mean, and so that's it. And so whatever your industry is, so that for me is coochie care and womb wellness. It is because I do what I do. I don't care how many people are out there talking about vaginal steaming, vaginal, something. There is nobody who is going to be the coochie coach in the way that I'm going to deliver being the coochie coach, right? And the results that the clients have told me that they've gotten are only the results that they've gotten because they've worked with me. So there's no question about me being a high performer. So if I decide that I need to be with my mom and my daughter for 3 days, doing nothing but family connection because my mama is 70 something and they're not guaranteed to be here tomorrow. So am I, my daughter, any one of us at any given time. Then I'm going to take those 3 days and trust and believe that even when I get back to the gram, it's all going to still be love. And I'm still going to come forward and bring forth life in the way that I was designed to do that from the creator.
Yes. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of great stuff happening on chat that I want to pull out too. A little while ago, Lucic had said, you know, we can't preach this stuff. Basically, we can't be the advocates if we don't do the same for ourselves. And I think about this all the time. You know, I can't be like telling clients one thing and then like not do it myself. So I that resonates a lot with me, Lucic. So thank you for saying that. Oh, this covers our faces, but Lenita said about this LinkedIn post where an HR professional submitted her notice without a plan. She said that she's always chased the what's next position, next promotion, etc. Tired of the rat race. Tired of the race, felt so liberated and pausing the chase, which is, you know, Nikki talking about taking a pause, you know, stepping back. Eventually we'll go back to something, but her piece was radiating off of her post. I mean, yeah, that stuff is evident. Can't wait to get a place of contentment with my accomplishments, but I've learned to pause the noise when I need to. I mean, everyone for you, Lenise. And I want to highlight this too, that Lucic said, and whoever else has comments and questions, get them in the chat because we've got a few more minutes with Nikki, the expert. So the fact that we think we own these women's bodies, yes. Oh my gosh.
That point right there.
Yes. To the point of criticizing their choices, the lack of smiling. Oh my God. The clothes, the vacation time is absolute bullshit. We think they belong to us, but they are humans. Oh my God. Yes.
Right.
That's so true. It's 100% true. There's a complete double standard. I'm going to say triple standard for women of color too.
Yes. Quadruple. I wrote 10 times, but then I wrote 100 times that. So where they say we have to do things twice as hard or twice as good as everybody else. No, we've got to come 20 times as good.
It's exponential.
Get less pay, less recognition, less acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying? Just less. And so that to me means that we don't recognize our power. You know, if somebody or some institution wants to work that hard to keep you low, you must have the diamond. You must be the real golden ticket. Because if you were not the golden ticket, there would not be an all-out war to keep you suppressed, to keep you under wraps. You're like the hidden gem that nobody knows about. And the moment that people find out, right, what happens? You're the one in the office that everybody wants to nurse off of your breast, birth from your womb, you know what I'm saying? Hear the power from your voice and get the intellect from your mind. But I say that those days have to end. If 23-year-old Naomi Osaka has not taught us anything, Black and brown women, people of color, walking around here, it is to learn to say no. No is a full and complete sentence. Self-care begins with no. And the moment you say no to somebody else, you can then say yes to yourself.
Oh my God. That's a gem. I got to put it in a banner.
Yeah.
Take over for a second, Nikki. If
That's fine.
Handle them in the chat. I also want you to tell people what it is exactly you do and how they can get in touch with you because people need to know.
Yeah. So what I do is I support people, women, like I said, high performance females and high performance female athletic thinkers to basically choose your own wellness. And by that, I focus on sex and intimacy because I realize that that is an area that so many women have been trained to suppress, right? More male dominance, right? So we suppress our desires, we suppress our thoughts, we suppress, and we relinquish, right, the control, oftentimes unconsciously, of our bodies and our minds when it comes to sex and intimacy to a partner. And I say a dominant masculine partner. It doesn't have to be a man. right? Sometimes we just relinquish the power to the masculinity and we retreat and we call it feminism or we call it femininity. And it is not that, right? It is a total denial of self. And so I help you to embrace yourself through womb care. So I have, I call it the Womb Wellness Boutique. And so what I provide is a space for you to let down your burdens. And by way of, ultimately, once I finish my certification, it'll be womb sauna steams for your vagina. But right now I do aroma body work. So it's not massage, but it does require me to touch your body and align your spine and have what they call an inversion table that recalibrates the womb when you tilt the body in a particular direction and angle. And then I have a full body steamer because, hey, who's going to the spa? Most of us are not. And is, designed so that we can remind ourselves of how valuable and how important we are. So I always say, like, I'm not, what they say, Biggie Smalls said, I'm not only the client, I'm the player president. I'm also a client of my own work. So the thing I use in my home, when I tell you to take a bath, it is because I believe in taking baths, and it is because I take a bath. I'm not going to encourage you to do something that I don't do. So I think I answered it.
Yes, no, and I want to also explicitly say, like, you all can follow Nikki on all these different channels. As we said earlier, she's not on Clubhouse as much, but like still follow because who knows, like it would be one of the spaces.
The Coochie Club. I have a club on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
The goal is to be there more often. I'm definitely living inside of Instagram a whole lot more. On my website, I have an ebook, and I wrote it during the pandemic, but it was about finding pleasure through the pain, right? So no matter what was going on in the universe at that time, I felt like we could still have pleasure and experience pleasure for ourselves. And I want to say thank you. Can I tell you thank you? Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for doing this and sharing all this wisdom. Lucy dropped a million applause, hand clap emojis. And I know that, like, this stuff is, we don't talk about it enough. Like, we really don't. And sometimes I'm like, oh, self-care again. And also, yes, because it is often the thing that's put on the back burner in chasing this, like, kind of very white supremacy dominant definition of high performance. And I love that you're talking about this duality. We can be both, and we actually are already both.
Let me say this too, Cynthia. The part where Brendan Burchard lays out the 5 things that he considers to be a high performance person, those are the things that we don't even have to focus on. Because
we're already doing it.
For many of us, we've got that in the bag, right?
Yeah.
The part that we need to learn, master, and practice, right? Or shall I say, learn, practice, and master are the days when you stop and say, no, I'm not doing that, right? The days when you stop and say, I'm taking a bath so that I can restore back into myself. The days when you take a vacation without the computer, unless you just want to watch Hulu and Netflix. But like really looking at your life and choosing yourself paramount to any and everybody else. I'm telling you, as a mother, I do this. As a parent, my daughter does not come first. My son does not come first. I do not sacrifice myself on the cross and lay myself on a bed of nails for their lives. I must first put myself in a place of power and love and healing so that I can support them with whatever else they need. They can only appreciate me for taking care of me first, because that is then what I'm teaching them to do for themselves as they become adults and move on.
Oh, this is so good. So many gems. I mean, look at this. Look at these. Just gems one upon another. All right. So listen, we're pretty much at time. I want to thank you, Nikki, for coming and sharing so much wisdom. Everybody stay in touch with Nikki here. I'm going to be back in 1 week, assuming I take care of myself. And I'm thinking of doing an Ask Me Anything style thing. So you all can ask me anything, common questions or whatever, like about me, my career change, my business, how I live my life, my love of Rottweilers, whatever. It's literally Ask Me Anything. So let me know in the chat if you're interested in that. And you can put it in your calendar and tell your friends to join us next week. And yeah, in the meantime, I want to thank all of you for coming. Lucic, Lanice, Viana. I mean, that last bit that Nikki was talking about, I was thinking about you, so I hope you heard that part. Anyone else who hasn't said hi in the chat, thank you all for coming nonetheless. Sharon, I did not forget about you. I don't know if Prev is here or Carla, but you all, I'm always thinking about you, and I appreciate you showing up. And your win for the day being that you did come wherever that happened. Here, I think that we all made it here today. That's our big win. So one more air horn for all of us. Don't forget, you are the diamond. Thank you, Nikki, the Coochie Coach Brown. Everybody follow Nikki, and I'll see you next week. Bye.